Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, there's something crazy going on right now, and I think it's bigger than what I'm about to tell you in terms of the events I'm about to drop. So, Raid yesterday, I was actually at a pool match, so I wasn't able to get involved, but Raid yesterday dropped a load of information about summoning events that are happening all week long. Okay, so I think Raid have got something else planned for this week. Obviously, we're in between fusions. We might find out about the next fusion probably either towards the end of this week or next week. So they're in this kind of like in-between time, which is normal, by the way. And yeah, I think we're going to find out that there's other stuff going on than just these summoning events. In fact, somebody did drop me some info yesterday as well. So Butterlove here was talking about, when are you going to give us a chance to grab Ninja or Ultimate Death Knight again on Facebook? And the Raid guys here said, hey there, unfortunately, it's not always possible to do that. I think he's talking about the Ninja thing, like they just can't do it. Some sort of contractual thing. They won't let Ninja be given out again, regardless of how much we want to do it. And I think they've learned from that because, they found different ways to put Rhonda in the game for other players. They've obviously changed the contractual stuff with her. But they're saying here, however, we do have more brand new champions from Raid, Call of the Arbiter animated series, coming soon. They'll be added to the game via a 7-day loyalty program again, to keep an eye out for that. So I just checked some dates here, and the Artak free login champion doesn't end until the end of July. So we've got some time. I was actually wondering if the new champion that's coming into Call of the Arbiter this week, which is nuts, a dwarf. I'll show you the visual of that in a second once I've beaten this spider down. I think they might try and add some sort of way to get him as well as these kind of like summoning events, because that seems to be the theme of what they're doing right now. Call of the Arbiter champions come in, they add some way in the game for you to get them. So Artak obviously was a freebie. They've got the champion training thing going on at the moment for Tatsu. But yeah, Call of the Arbiter this week is all about another new champion. So I think either way, he's probably going to be added to the game, either now or he might be the next login champion, potentially. But we're talking that's like over a month away. So just bear that in mind. Anyway, let's get into who's up for grabs here this week. So we've got today, probably by the time this video goes live or around when this goes live, we have got Bashold available through Ancients and... let me just check. Ancients and Sacreds on a 10 times. Bashold, brilliant legendary champion. But unless they do something else, in fact, let me just check as well. Unless they do something else, it's really a bad time to pull shards. Unless you're a whale or a kraken specifically after this champion. Like there's not any type of extra summoning event, or sometimes they do like the path events where you get points for summoning. Doesn't seem like any of that is going on unless they literally just drop it out of nowhere. Let me just see if there's any news that kind of talks about this stuff. No. So I can't see any reason to summon unless you are someone who specifically wants these champions. But anyway, Bashold has got an A1, which becomes an AoE if there are leeches out there. It hits very hard. Really good Hydra champ. Great clan boss champ. Great arena champ. Got increased speed and crit damage. Gets an extra turn here. Also puts True Fear and Leech on enemies, which activates that A1. And then he's got a Steel Buffs ability and heal reduction whilst healing himself as well. He's a great legendary champion. Okay, Bashold is big. And then you've got Net Crit on the same day. So this is like the undead day, I guess. The day of the dead. Net Crit are great. I've just done a Plat Arena push utilizing Net Crit. Net Crit's probably the best champion in the game if you don't think you're going to go first in an arena fight. He protects your loved ones with block debuffs, strengthen, and ally protect before anything happens. And then when they get hit, he throws an almighty shield on them so that they're very difficult to die, like very difficult to kill. This dude's insane. He's got another, same as this passive, he's got the same buff again that you can put on someone else. And then anyone who's got those buffs on, he's going to do an ally attack with on his A2. Net Crit is a brilliant champion in Raid. If you're struggling with high-level Doom Tower, he can actually protect whoever you want to bring in to do the damage. So, you know, some of those levels where they just get silly, he's actually insanely good for that as well. So that's today. Tomorrow, we go on to the night revs, and they're throwing in Walking Tomb Drain. I actually don't have this dude, and he's brilliant. He's a great champion, especially if you're not in the ninja camp. If you don't have ninja, he's like probably the next best thing alongside like Artak and that. So I guess before Artak came along, he was insane. Now he's just good. If you can't do Sand Devils like high level, him and a Godseeker and Neri is probably, you know, probably third best option. You've got Ninja, best option. Chronum, second best option if you can be doing with farming your own alt accounts. And then Walking Tomb Drain is third best option. He's also brilliant for hard Ice Golem. Brilliant generally. Like, it's got this AoE HP burn. Can't be resisted. He activates burns on the A1. He's got this kind of like cool heal mechanic on his A3. Yeah, he's a cool champ. And then he's got reflect damage, which is okay, and deals more damage if the target's low health here as well. Hits reasonably hard, but not crazy. Most of his damage will come from the burn. So yeah, Walking Tomb Drain is cool. Hedgie is kind of like old school arena god. Nowadays, still an arena god if you're like a gold 5 player. But in plat, doesn't get a look in anymore because of polymorph pretty much. And no, maybe it's more about Stone Skin stroke polymorph, the two together. But yeah, it doesn't get much of a look in. Probably more Stone Skin to use to push back turn meter with the A1 and try and apply decreased speed. Well, you can't do that anymore. You can't do that with Stone Skin. And you can't put debuffs out there with polymorph. So, but anyway, Hedgie is still super fun for arena. Still not bad for live arena, I guess. If you build a nuke Hedgie, you can actually nuke down, you know, their damage dealers and stuff like that in live arena. But Hedgie is going to be the second one for tomorrow. We've then got Demon Spawns for Wednesday. So we've got Helicaf, who was a fusion once. He's the single best fusion we've ever had to change somebody's account from mid-game to I can now beat pretty much most things in the game. But Helicaf was insane as a fusion. Like, when I got him on a free-to-play, I went from struggling on Brutal Clan Boss to I'm doing Nightmare Clan Boss. Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. Ultra Nightmare. And also helped me through Doom Tower, helped me through a load of areas. He's got block damage here, but he's easily the best block damage champ. Because if you've got block damage on and somebody is hit, not just him, somebody is hit, he comes at them with the A1, and the A1 hits hard, and it can put weaken on there. It's also got shieldage going on as well. Oh, and by the way, when the block damage drops off, you get increased defense. He's a defensive-based champion. Yeah, in live arena, he's still at a high level, is very effective. Yeah, you get that block damage on there. He's counter-attacking with that A1. And then when the block damage drops off, he still has got increased defense. Makes him hit harder. Makes him harder to kill. So yeah, Helicaf is super cool. And then the other one they've got on here is a Nifui. Again, actually pretty good for live arena. Not great outside of live arena, in my opinion. Hits okay hardish. Okay, that's his problem. It's not hits hard. Hits for an okay level. If you've got a +4 in Nifui, yeah, maybe you're singing and dancing. But a single Nifui struggles to kill stuff. Apart from with his A2. He's probably the best anti-Rotus champion in the game. Which is cool, because Rotus is everywhere in live arena. But, yeah, other than that, he struggles. The reason why he is good is because everything he does is a block revive hits. And there's lots of revivers in live arena. Every single steal that he does would be a block revive. But the AoE doesn't hit hard enough. The A1 doesn't hit that hard. And the A2 on a 3-turn cooldown, well, it just takes a while to get back to it. But yeah, Anifui's the second champ there. And then we've got one more day of this, which is going to be Thursday, where we've got Dark Elves. And that is going to be, again, actually a champ I don't have here. Noct should be most people's best answer to Sand Devil. But like with a lot of these things, Sand Devil doesn't get played the way it should. It gets played to cheese it, or you don't play it at all. And because it's slightly overtuned in ways. I don't know. Anyway, Noct is a great sleep champion. So basically what he does here, he puts, if you book him, 100% chance to sleep the enemy and puts poisons out there. So sleeping means you can actually do damage to the Sand Devil. poisons or any sort of debuffs after that means that you hit harder. So this is good. And the cool thing about him is when he's got ally protection on, so places ally protection on his team, and his passive is out there, whenever an ally is attacked under ally protection, 40% chance of sleeping the attacker. So you put ally protection out there, he attacks your team, and there's a chance for you to just sleep again and again the Sand Devil, which means that you can kind of chain, sleep him, wake him up, he hits you again, sleep him, wake him up, etc. So you're able to chain sleep the dude with Noct, which is actually very cool. And as I say, he should be the best champion in the game, Sand Devil, but people have found different ways to beat it. We've then got, for the last one, Blind Seer. Blind Seer, I mean, probably pretty underrated, but also not played in any very high-level teams. Fastest champion in the game. 3-hitter A1, good for Fire Knight here. Each hit chance to decrease enemy's turn meter. Good for most single-target bosses. It's got pretty good A2 as well, to be fair. Block, debuffs, and shield on a 3-turn cooldown. And then a cool revive. Yeah, so revives all your team and puts block damage on them for a turn. The revive, though, is on a long cooldown, 5 turns, and there's no cheaty passive. She's very similar to Raglin. They both need, Raid, if you're watching this, which you're not, I'm sure you're not, but if you were, they both need a passive, which is cool. Yeah, they need it, because they're both good champions. They're just lacking some of the sexy glitz and glamour that you put on some of these other legendary champions, which would make them into that tier of, we're going to use them all over the place. Anyway, that is the lot in terms of champions. As I say, I feel like something else is coming this week because it's weird that they dropped this on a Sunday. Feels like they're going to loop it up with something else, but we're not being told what it is, or maybe I'm completely wrong. There you go, guys. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you later.